Good evening. Welcome back to Finnerty. Glad you're here. I'm Rob Finnerty. And on Monday night, we told you we are going to deliberately limit playing what other people say on other networks, and we meant it. We take that promise seriously, and we know that you will hold us accountable. I've already heard from many of you, and thank you for that. But since Monday, something has changed, and it's happening faster than I think anyone anticipated. Jimmy Kimmel is gone. No more. His career might be completely over, as the difference between us and them becomes more clear by the day. People of a certain age will remember Montel Williams. At one point, like 30 years ago, he had one of the biggest shows in America, and he was dating the future vice president. It's a little-known fact that directly after Willie Brown and Kamala Harris parted ways, somehow Kamala started looking into the root causes of Montel. And 30 years later, we had forgotten about Montel completely until one of the other networks invited him on to comment on a politically motivated assassination. We know that, but Montel said this.
Talking about a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship, and somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot. Why did he wait until the first word trans came up? Then he took the shot.
You think he heard it? He could hear it?
I think he could hear it. I think he also, I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally.
And that's the difference between us and them right there. To them and to Kamala's ex-boyfriend, the violent public assassination of Charlie Kirk 8 days ago is a love story. Like Romeo and Juliet or Jack and Rose from Titanic. If Rose was a man and trans and Jack suddenly assassinated the captain of the Titanic. You can see how ridiculous that sounds, but we're doing that on purpose to point out the difference between us and them, between the right and the left. The left wants to make Tyler Robinson into a hero, the brave leading man, into one of the great modern love stories, which of course it's not. But the left always do this because they don't know what a real love story is. Jack and Jackie, not a real love story. Bill and Hillary, not a real love story. Mayor Pete and Chasten, no. Barack and Michelle, definitely not. What about Tim and Gwen? No. In 2013, after the Boston Marathon bombing, Rolling Stone put Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev on the cover. Hundreds of people were still being treated for their injuries at hospitals, and the left thought it was appropriate to try and turn a terrorist, a killer, into a rock star, the bomber. And that is the difference between us and them. And just this week, it was on display again. Hundreds of people rallying outside a courthouse in New York for murderer Luigi Mangione. One leftist even said on a podcast this week that Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk assassin, wouldn't be as popular as Luigi Mangione because he wasn't quite as handsome.
You end up with like Charles Manson cult around someone. I don't mean like a literal cult, but like a cult following where people are obsessed and get fixated on someone in prison for a just cause. Or like even Mangione, you see some of this after he said he was innocent, which means you could like really be misdirecting people in different ways. Hopefully that doesn't happen here.
He's not as good looking as Mangione, so will be less inspirational for people.
It's sick. And now people like Montel Williams and reporters at ABC News are trying to turn Charlie Kirk's killer into something he is not and will never be.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love.
He's talking about an alleged assassin. Tyler Robinson didn't have love in his heart that day, and this is not a love story. It's a story about good versus evil, and about hate, and about the differences, once again, between us and them.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.